kind of going back to the U.S., where you just see a lot of people out there that seem at least physically able-bodied, and they're just begging for money, do nothing.
Just
right?
hold the
sign. Hold the sign,
paper.
giving money, right? At least here again, I know like in kind of in European places, I know it's because they used to throw, or like even in the States, it's because they used to throw trash out, right? So again, you're more likely to get the trash hit you if you're standing by the street. So it's just kind of more polite.
So we know what we're talking about?
Customs.
Yeah,
culture and customs.
Yeah, just discuss it. Okay.
See what happens.
Yeah, that's exactly.
All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to our latest episode. Again, for those who don't remember, I'm Roddy.
I'm Landy.
And again, today we're going to just kind of jump in. And our topic today is about customs and culture here in Mexico. Things that we've heard about, things we've experienced, seen. Again, just like everything else, this is purely our opinion based on what we've seen. Again, we may be right, maybe wrong.
Yeah.
But no, always let us know.
We're open to discuss.
Yeah.
And like before we move into Mexico, I never really go into that topic, go to do some online study, like what should do, what should not do, avoid. I'm here.
Yeah. And we've been learning as we go, right? Some things, some things are, I've kind of heard of before and sound reasonable. Other things kind of sound not so reasonable. But, let's see. What's one of the first things that you've noticed or seen, heard living here in Mexico?
I think the first thing really makes me feel people are so friendly, so polite, is so well educated somehow. Is the first time I went to KFC with you and Louie, and after eating, we were sitting upstairs. There are a group of guys just sitting next to us, talking, chatting in the afternoon, whatever snack or lunch.
Sure.
So yeah, we're still eating. So they finish their food. And they're leaving KFC. When they passed by our table, the guy just said something, provecho, and I look at him. I didn't know what he said. I just smiled and nodded, and he walked away because I know what he said is friendly words from his facial expression.
Yeah.
And then they were leaving. I feel something because I know basic words like adios. This I don't think he said it. I feel he's talking to me like good appetite. That's some words I feel so. I enjoy your meal. Some words like that.
Right.
So I told Rod, and what remember that story?
Yeah, so now I do remember it. Yeah. So the word is provecho, right? Which, like you said, is kind of maybe the equivalent of bon appetit or good appetite, or enjoy your meal. And it's something that we've seen is very common here. And again, it's just a nice manner of people just as they leave. Something you definitely don't see in the U.S.
No.
Whenever you leave anywhere, people just walk out and so be it. So again, it's very familiar. You should get used to it. You should be able to say it. As we walk out more and more, we've kind of grown to say it ourselves as we walk out. And it's just a nice, polite way of saying enjoy your meal, right? Which is provecho.
Yeah.
So if you hear that, just knowledge in agreement and understand, and you can say thank you, and just learn to say it as you walking out of restaurants.
Say gracias.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah, it's just simple and nice.
Other customs.
Another thing I have to say that it's people are very polite when they pass by you. In US, you say excuse me, excuse us, and here you say con permiso.
Con permiso, right? Yeah. Which again just means like with permission, may I pass? And again, it's just a very polite way of getting through a situation or a person if they're kind of in your way slightly. Whether they're in your way or not, it's just the polite thing to do. Right?
Yeah, that's why I feel people are very polite here.
Sure.
And another thing.
I'll let her go for a while.
Let me get out first. And probably I know that was all what I know. And in the morning, you're walking by the neighborhood or anywhere, people just say bon dia, buenos dias.
Yeah.
Means good morning.
Yeah. Buenos dias, buenos tardes, buen dia, buenos.
Yeah, buenos.
Right.
Buen dia.
Right. And they're all kind of the equivalent, just maybe depending on the time of day. And again, you obviously people do kind of acknowledge each other back in the U.S. and states, other places. But again, it does seem to be a little bit more prevalent here.
Yeah.
Again, you do tend to see it a lot more, like in our neighborhood, or even just kind of walking in more public areas. If there's not many people around, and you just kind of pass another person, just buenos dias, buenos tardes. Just how you doing? This is very polite.
Yeah,
you're right. Absolutely. You do tend to kind of feel that politeness a little bit more in Mexico, at least from our experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in the neighborhood. I think when we walk in the central, no, you don't say. You
Not
barely
as
meet
much.
anyone because there are too many people.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Maybe if it's like you might be somewhere out publicly, and if there's nobody really around, it's only one or two people passing in a big area, and it's not busy, then it's actually more you may hear it, right?
Yeah, even yesterday I was in the waiting room in the dentistry, and there's a lady just walk into the lobby waiting area. She doesn't know anyone. I don't know her, and she just buenas.
To everybody.
Yeah, to everybody.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. Yeah, it's just applied away.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's again very friendly, very nice culture. I definitely would agree with that. And then some things. What else? I know one of the things we always talk about is we've received comments, and we've also heard from other people as well. Are things like how people dress, right? And again, that could be depending on the type of area you're in. Maybe in bigger cities where people are a little bit more liberal. Again, you can get away with some things that maybe in smaller towns and pueblos, people may kind of give you a funny look, right? I know they've talked about things like shorts.
Yeah, right? Shorts.
They do say, it's not polite, or you definitely look like a tourist if you wear shorts. We've even received comments. People have told us just in passing in other conversations that, again, I don't want to say rude. Maybe I'm kind of missing the word, but again, it's just not common. Where men and women should wear pants. Like jeans and pants are kind of more the standard. But again, as we've walked around, and again, maybe it's because we're here in Queretaro, a place like Mexico City. I remember in Monterrey, we saw that big group of guys, and tons of people are wearing shorts.
Yeah, it's not like you wear long pants, dressed up. Sure, you go to more formal restaurants.
Sure.
Right, sure. That
makes sense.
Dressing code.
That would be anywhere.
But come on, middle of the day in Queretaro here, it's super, super hot. You're walking in the sun. Like the day we received the comment, and later on we were walking in the central here, and I said, really? Let me check around.
Let's see.
Just let me see. Because I never noticed that. And I look around, just within short walk, I saw 5 men.
Yeah.
Okay, they're wearing shorts. They're not, I don't think they're gringos, just from the looking, they're Mexicans.
Sure. Yeah,
maybe not. I don't know. But they're
being Queretaro, being in Mexico, the chances that they're Mexican is much higher than they were foreigners, right? Especially in a town like Queretaro.
Yeah, even yesterday we saw a man walking by.
Oh, you see them all the time.
It's a lot.
And so I think what I'm thinking is, what I'm guessing is maybe this custom is maybe more outdated, maybe it's more traditional style. Again, I'm sure there's obviously some merit to it. But again, I think as times are changing, the world is kind of becoming a smaller place. I think it's becoming more common for all people to kind of wear shorts, whether men or women. And I think you made a good comment the other day. Yeah. If it wasn't really culturally acceptable, why would you see so many shorts for sale in the stores? Yeah,
that's like yesterday I was wearing a comfortable summer shorts, casually walk to pick up my son. And he said, no, the comments actually talk about you. I said, what? After 1 year, I thought it would talk about Rod. I said, no, it mentioned you. You were wearing shorts. I said, if they don't allow a woman to wear shorts, it's very rude here. Stop selling that in most shops. It's very common. The woman wearing nice shorts. I'm not talking about those what kind of super short
shorts.
Yeah, it's just casually shorts. You see people buying that and wearing that. I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
that makes me very confused.
Yeah, and I think that's going to happen with a lot of people with a lot of customs and things they may not be familiar with. Again, there may be some confusion. Yeah, and again, maybe that's just it's a cultural confusion. Again, maybe it's outdated. Maybe we're wrong, but it's just kind of what we notice and what we see, right?
Yeah.
What else do we see out there?
And when the car stops. When you're passing by,
when they allow you to pass,
allow you to pass first, and you should give a sign like that. Right?
It's the back of the hand.
Back of the hand, not this.
Right.
This means stop.
Yeah. and again, this is something I know happens, and I know they do, but again, I don't know if there's some significance behind it. I don't know if the front of the hand is disrespectful or rude, or like you said, maybe it means stop.
Means stop.
Because I'm definitely in the U.S. If you pass by, you're at a crosswalk and the car lets you pass, normally you put your hand out like, hey, thank you. It's kind of open.
That's normally I do. I say, hey, thank you. That means thank you in my
culture, right? So in Chinese and American culture, the open hand towards the person is the polite thing to do.
The stop would be like that. That's stop.
But here it's definitely the back of the hand, right? You cross the road and you just kind of give a little nod and the back of the hand. It's something we notice and something we kind of practice now that we're here more.
That's always like, which way I confessed.
Back. So there's back of the hand. I know there's some things I've read online. I know I've seen some videos online from other YouTubers and stuff, which is where women should stand when you're walking with them, right down the street. And I know this is pretty and I've heard this from even other cultures, right? And I think it's general that the woman should always stand on the inside, like towards the building of the on the sidewalk, not towards the street side.
Yeah.
Again, and that can be again where exactly it comes from. I know there's different interpretations. I know like in kind of in European places, I know it's because they used to throw, or like even in the States, it's because they used to throw trash out, right? So again, you're more likely to get the trash hit you if you're standing by the street. So it's just kind of more polite for the woman to stand on the inside. We've heard here in Mexico,
that makes sense,
right?
Yeah.
We've heard here in Mexico that if your woman is on the street side, that means she's available. Again, how true that is. I mean, again, it's things that we know.
This is too much. I think this is too much.
And maybe like the pants, maybe it's an outdated tradition. Again, I think times are changing, but people who are very traditional, maybe it doesn't mean that, but maybe it's just a sign of disrespect, maybe to the culture. It's something I've always kind of done anyway, whether you notice it or not.
Like when we walk on the street.
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Sometimes I just walk because in my culture, that's not a thing.
Right.
Even when we lived in the U.S., I also don't feel that's the thing where we walk anywhere walking.
Right. It's definitely a little bit more free. I know sometimes I try to do it with just, almost instinctually, but I think again that's kind of the very old, traditional kind of thinking that's been ingrained into my brain. But again, sometimes it doesn't matter. It's not as big a deal. Being married for a while, it's just I think we're a little bit more casual and loose with how we, like I said, and maybe don't even think about it. But again, I've heard that is kind of the tradition and the culture here that the women should walk on the inside, again, away from the street side when you're walking down the street.
Yeah, I also saw this man's video talk about if you go to visit some people in Mexico, so if someone offer you a drink, you should say no for 2 or 3 times. Like 2 times no, and she offer you again, you say no, and third time you say, okay, thank you, gracias. Otherwise, you're supposed to be rude. Is that?
Yeah, this one I hadn't really heard about.
I saw that one. I feel like, what? That's odd.
Yeah.
If I wanted something, I say yes. If I really don't want this drink, I say sorry, I don't want to drink this. Maybe I drink something else.
Maybe
I don't know.
That's a new one. This is one of them that you could. This is one of the issues. Maybe tell us. Have you heard about this? Or is it right? Is it wrong?
Yeah. If you're Mexican watching our video, is that true?
Yeah. Let us know, because again, that's something I've never heard of, and obviously you just saw already.
If I'm really thirsty, I want water. I say, yeah, please, the water. Right?
Speaking of water.
If I say no 2 times, then the person says, okay, you don't want it. Cool.
Yeah, definitely. So, so that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
that may not have heard of, but okay. What else?
Maybe before, maybe that's a thing called the Mexican way to say no. If they say no, they don't directly say no. For example, you say, "Oh, you want to hang out for a meal? Or have a meal together, have a coffee together,
right?
Hang out." I mean, they may like, I'm really busy, no, but they don't directly say no, but they just say, oh, sure, and sure, we can make some time, but not today. I'm busy, but probably later on. But the later on means never. That kind of thing.
Like asking their schedule, right? They'll never really directly say no.
Right.
They'll always kind of
maybe later,
phrase it nice and pretty, as to not be so direct. Right? Yeah, as far as them saying no, I think something else that's kind of even tied in with that is, and I'm sure people have heard this from all over the place, and I'm sure this is more common, kind of being on the Mexico time, in like the manana time.
Right.
So kind of when people say no, they don't really mean it. They'll say something else. What I think also sometimes people will give you a time just to kind of make you feel better, but whether or not they're going to stick to that time is a totally another question, right?
Yeah.
Again, which is I'll be there. Ahorita, I'll be there. I'll be there in a little bit. I'm coming. Or I have an appointment tomorrow at 2:00. Someone's going to come here, or someone's going to meet us somewhere, and then 30-45 minutes later, here they come.
Yeah,
I
think I had some bad experience with her. She's American, but she has the Mexican background. Her parents are, but she raised and grew up in Chicago. But I think she also has those culture in her deep mind. Remember once we were in the restaurant waiting for her?
Oh God, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then like, I'm coming, I'm on the way. And after 1 hour, we already finished 2 drinks and plan to order the food. Like, where is she? After 1 hour.
Yeah, and that's because you're right. From where she was to where we were meeting was very close. It was like 20 minutes away. It's like, oh, I'm leaving the house right now.
Yeah, a few times. Because another time also, I'm waiting. Oh, I'm coming. 20 minutes. Then later on, after 1.5 hour, I'm sitting in the house dressed up, waiting for her, and she didn't show up. And then she couldn't make up later. I don't know. She didn't make it.
We've had that issue here a couple of times. Like with people coming to fix things or get meeting here.
Maybe that's the cultural thing.
Right. I think so. It's definitely kind of like what they call the manana time, right?
Yeah.
The Mexico time, whatever you want to call it. I think I think that everything is just a little bit more laid back here, and there's definitely not that kind of high pace of life in general. Again, obviously, it's not for everybody. We have had some instances where people have showed up right on time, which is great. But you do tend to see that a little bit more, and that people will show up at 30 minutes later, an hour later, very casually. Not really like apologizing. Just well, I'm here. I told you I was coming. I'm here.
So I think this culture also adapt into many places. Like people don't want to see you, they really don't want to meet you, but they don't say no directly. It's like the international way now, right? Oh yeah, sure, let's hang out for dinner someday, but they don't really make a reservation. Like, so let's meet the next Monday, 6 p.m. What about which restaurant?
Let's have dinner sometime.
Yeah, sometime. It's just a polite way, but they don't really want to have dinner with you. I think that's not just the culture here, the polite way to say no.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that is in other places as well. I think people just, and they can going back to the U.S. or whatever.
Right.
Definitely so. And people say things like that as well.
Right.
So not just here.
Yeah, I think just nowadays it's quite used in many countries.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see. Anything else that we've noticed?
Oh, the tip culture.
I was thinking about that, but I mean, people tip, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like people try to like in the like we go to Mercado, the tip culture we want to talk about. When we went to Mercado, the guys like the guys are car washing guys.
Okay, right.
Those things, but they still, if you didn't hire their service to wash your car today, but they still help you. Hey, back up here, this way, that way, and okay, if it doesn't really help for, I remember you also give him some like I don't know 5 pesos.
Yeah. Right. Like so usually on what she's talking about, right, is in a lot of places, and it's in a lot of parking lots. They have
not just the Mercado.
The parking lot attendants, and again, they kind of help you out. They're everywhere. They're at every kind of parking lot you can think of. Doesn't matter where you are. Most of these guys are there to wash your cars. That's how I guess how they make their main money. But again, how they make small money with those small tips is again, right? They'll assist you in backing out. Sometimes it's not really necessary. Like for instance, for our car, we do have the backup camera, and and you're talking about maybe very open parking lots, and it almost feels like it's not really necessary. And again, I'll be honest, sometimes I don't tip them, but if it's a tighter situation or if you're backing onto a busy street, because I know sometimes there was that the Farmacia Guadalajara right by Louie's old daycare, and you backed out right into the street. Right? And so in that case, they would stop cars, they would stop traffic and have you back out. That 100% is an absolute help, right? Or if you're maybe in a tight spot, right? You're in a tight parking lot where you really got to back forth a couple of times. Again, that's a great help. And so they absolutely deserve a tip, help. And again, that's usually something in general small, maybe around 5 pesos, give or take a little bit more depending on the situation.
Yeah. And another thing, not everyone have a car here. If you have a car when you're on the busy street, the red lights, then the guys just come in, want to wash your window, those things. Of course, if you needed the service, you tip them. If you don't need their service, just say,
no.
What do you say?
The little finger.
That finger. Okay.
No. And they'll try, I know it's a little bit off topic, but while we're there, again, a lot of times they will spray your window. Whether you say no or not, they're trying to get that like that pre-sale or whatever. And like, well, the water's already there. Let me just go in and finish. So you got to be a little bit stern. You got to really look at them and just kind of give a little finger wag, like no. Because sometimes your window's not even that dirty, doesn't need it. But again, if they do and you do require it, give them a tip. Usually about maybe 10 pesos. They'll clean your front and back windows.
Oh yeah, talk about that tip. By the red light, also we saw some clown and some performers.
Oh, the performers, right? Same thing.
Performers.
Right? You're definitely going to see that a lot more in Mexico. You see a lot of street performers in busy intersections all over the place.
Yeah.
And again, so they'll just jump out in front of a red light, and you'll see all kinds of acts.
Oh, even the fire dance.
Guys on stills, and performers on unicycles, and children like climbing on each other's shoulders, doing acrobatic things, things you see like on Cirque du Soleil. And if you're so inclined, and they're out there working hard and in the hot sun, you may want to give them a little tip as well. Again, you're never talking about, I think on average they never get big tips. They probably, I'm guessing somewhere between 5 and 10 pesos is what they're going to receive on average. Of course, it's a tip, just like most things, it's completely up to you. So whatever you
Right.
feel like giving them, you like it, hey, give them more, right? You know, and again, tips also at gas stations.
Oh, gas station.
Gas stations. Taxi drivers, I don't really
I don't
know.
know. When I first arrived here, I got a taxi. I gave the man, besides what he asked for, I gave him some tips.
Yeah, but
I don't know, is this thing here? Because we don't really call taxi.
Right, I know we did at the beginning, and I was kind of saying maybe if there was like some small change left over, I'd just let them keep the change.
Okay.
But again, that's just coming from the U.S. culture. I know in the U.S. culture, taxi drivers are definitely usually tipped.
Yeah.
Again, are taxi drivers usually tipped here?
I don't know. What about Uber, Didi, driver?
Yeah,
driver,
Uber, Didi, no. I've never given an Uber. Oh, no, I take that back. Uber, I do.
This is on the app, because they give you option.
Right.
Yeah.
On the app, they do give the option, and I've always given the tip, right? It's
Okay.
like most service things, I feel it's the proper and right thing to do. And those guys are out there working hard, getting around. Hey, give them a few extra pesos. It's no big deal. You definitely do see a lot more places. Things like, barbershops, same thing, give tips. I think that's pretty common here and in the U.S. I think we give tips there as well.
Another thing is those older ladies and men, abuelas, working in the supermarkets.
Oh yeah,
right. Like you go to the local one, not Walmart.
The bagging assistants.
Yeah,
right. They help you to bag your groceries. Again, in the U.S., a lot of places that do have baggers. Again, it's just part of the job. They bag it, put in your groceries. Thank you. Have a nice day. Maybe they help you out to the car. Here, as far as what I understand, it's all volunteer. These ladies and men who do it, I don't think. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they get paid, and it's purely tip, right? And again, so this is going to be depending on the size of how many groceries you have. But I think on average, maybe 10 pesos is a good average. Again, if it's just a few things, maybe give them a little bit of some change, 3-5 pesos. If it's just 5-10 items. If it's a huge order that you're going through, like, you're shopping for weeks and stuff, then I think giving them a little bit more is definitely appropriate. But I think about 10 pesos, give or take, is pretty appropriate. Because again, that is what they kind of depend on the work. And you're right. And they are usually older ladies and gentlemen who do the bagging.
It's like just, I'm retired, I'm at home anyway, let me make some extra money. And then I like to meet people.
Yeah, hang out with the young kids who are on the cash register and stuff.
Yeah, but if you only have one item, I don't need a bag. I just in and out. You don't have to give tips.
Right. I think it's like most things. It's just kind of the depending on the situation.
And they really know what they're doing. They pack very well.
Oh yeah. They can get things in a few bags that you think, oh, we're gonna need 2 more bags. Nope, they got it in there. So yeah, no, they're definitely very good on the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah, tips are definitely appreciated. Then when you go to the restaurant, I think the average maybe here is about 10 or 15%. Is kind of considered customary. I go, for most places, it may be smaller street food places or vendors, maybe just 10 pesos, depending on what you get, I think is again pretty acceptable. So again, just be prepared to tip. Some things are a little similar. A few things are a little bit different. But again, tips are definitely appreciated here for sure.
Yeah, because that's a good thing. People work for tips, work for the 10 peso, 5 pesos.
You hardly ever see like beggars.
Beggar, no.
And usually when you do, again, it's going to tend to be very elderly people, or maybe people with like severe handicaps.
Oh, really? Yeah,
right.
Like a blind lady, but they're also singing.
Yeah, that's like some of them may, right? But you do see even a lot of them, like they sing or play an instrument. Kind of going back to the U.S., where you just see a lot of people out there that seem at least physically able-bodied, and they're just begging for money, do nothing.
Just hold the
sign, give me money, right? At least here, again, I think it's just part of the culture, that work ethic. No matter how much or little I earn, I'm gonna try to earn it, right? Again, just a lot of these guys who sell things or clean your windows on the street they just get a little bottle with some Windex in it, buy one window wiper, and again, that's it. That's their investment. They go out there and they try to work for their money, or sell little candies, right?
Sell candies,
anything that again. They want to make it feel that they're earning the money that they're getting, right? Not just, please give me the money, right? Which again, I think is a very nice part of the culture and the custom here. People really do have that work ethic. And people work all kinds of hours and days here, 5, 6, 7 days a week. And again, I know that happens everywhere. Again, to me, it just seems to be a little bit more common, as far as people working. So I definitely think that is part of the culture here. Yeah, that's definitely nice.
Another culture, maybe not a culture, it's just people waiting the line. We saw lots of lines here, line there, getting the line for bank, for this. Is that the customer say? It's just, maybe it's not.
All that I can think
like
of is the bank.
Yeah. Or some government place. They're waiting for the paper. Everyone getting in line.
Maybe that's just inefficiency.
Yeah. I don't think
yeah, because I mean, which I think is true of like all governments. Yeah, like you go to the SAT office, which is one of the government offices where you get a lot of your documents. You always just see a mess of people outside waiting for long periods of time. Or like when we go to the INM office, which is the immigration office.
Yeah, the line is long.
The line is always long to try to get in. And it's like you have to get in line to get an appointment, right? And obviously they do have internet and computer systems here in Mexico. So why can't you just make an appointment online? And then again, the excuse I always hear is because those systems always crash. So you have to get somewhere. I mean, I'll speak of the immigration office because I know that's the last thing we've done. We're supposed to get there maybe by about 7, but they'll have people get in line for you. Or if you're working by yourself, people get there at like 11, 12 o'clock in the morning to be the first ones in line to get an appointment. Again, so this is not even just to be the first one in. This is to get to the appointment for you to come back later, right?
But I think that just happened to a big city like here, Querétaro. There are many foreigners working or moving here, Mexico City.
Right.
But like smaller places, as
Maybe
I heard, like Mazatlan, they said just easy. You don't really need. There's no long line. Normally, one day it's done. Like I have a friend who lives in Cihuatanejo. She said, "Come here, and it's just so easy. There's nobody there. I can make a reservation for you. I just go to the office down the road."
And they're happy to help you because nobody comes in.
Yeah, she said she walking and they let her sit. Like after 2-3 hours, done.
Yeah, because I remember the last time I went, I got there at 6, 7 in the morning, waited, finally got the appointment. After the second day, I got cut out the first day, and then you go back at, I think my appointment was like at 11. I went back at 11, and I didn't get out till almost 5 o'clock the next day.
Yeah,
no, not the next day, 5 o'clock the same day. So again, even then, like, I got my appointment 11 o'clock. Cool, I'll just be in and out, maybe an hour or so. Nope, 5 hours later, 6 hours later, I was barely walking out, just ready to pull my hair out. So I think these are some customs and part of the culture that we've noticed. Again, I'm sure there's tons of things we probably missed. Do any of y'all out there know any other seemingly strange or odd customs or part of things of the culture that we didn't speak about, things that you've experienced or heard? And we always love to hear from y'all. Let us know what you think. And we'll talk to you soon.
Hopefully today's topic can help you before moving to Mexico. Make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, as in, let us know how we did. Are we right? Are we wrong?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We're still going.
Yeah, stay tuned for our next episode. It will be next Sunday.
Yeah, a few cuts in it.